up, GERO 200? It's me, John Walsh. It's August 27th, 2023, and we're going to do week 2. All right. A number of you guys have just added the class. It's all good. Welcome to the class. And what you need to do is, oh, well, first I got to introduce you to Lucy. Here's Lucy. All right. Hey, Lucy, say hi to the crowd. Up here, Lucy. What's here? What's that? Lucy's a German Terrier pointer. We rescued her about 9 months ago. She's awesome. She has a brother here too. I don't know where he is. Where's it's Lucy and Desi. He's over there. Come here, Des. Oh, they're gone. If they both come around, I'll show them to you. All right, so you guys that are new to the class, this is what you got to do. And you got to come down here and you got to update yourself by just starting at the beginning of the announcement. They're chronological, okay? That was our opening, hey, what's up, okay? And then right here, okay? You have to learn how to get an A in this class, how to navigate the class. That's why you watch this video. It explains everything, okay? All righty. And I'm not going to do that again. So you need to just go out there and check it out if you're new to the class, all right? Contact Julia Walsh. She is the course administrator. She is awesome, smart, compassionate, and she'll get you back on board, okay? All righty. So every week you go into the weekly assignments, and that's what we're going to do right here. I just clicked on that in my Blackboard page, and this is what it looks like in your end. This explains, again, what it's all about, how to approach every weekly assignment, okay? We did the first week, okay? And now I'm going to go into week 2, all right? All righty. This video that I'm making right here is going to be positioned right here, and it's the point of these videos is guide you through the material that we have, how to interpret it. So I'm enabling you to be able to think like I do, and when I'm looking through all the really interesting information about aging and how it impacts you as an individual, how it impacts your community, and just kind of, you know, bigger picture of what our government's doing and then globally. So this is an article about the global implications published in 2017. It has a lot of retrospective look back at data, okay? And then it makes projections into the future. And that's basically what you do. And so yeah, so we're gonna go through all this, okay? And I'm gonna relate it to some of the figures that we see right here, just letting you know, okay? But I think the first thing that we can do is we're going to open up the PDF file. And then I'm going to follow that up with a jump into this week's discussion board. What I encourage you to do is you can actually even open up a second browser, right? You go like this, click. I'm going to go into Blackboard, click. I'm going to open up the same course twice in this, all right? And I can go into week 2, just like I did before. All right, we're going in. You can hear my dogs whining over there. It's kind of dinner-ish time. And we click on week 2. What I'm going to do this time is, again, I'm going to have it open. So I'm looking at the information. But I can go down here and open my quiz, hit begin. It's only 5 multiple choice questions. You guys can do this as friends together, whatever. These questions are drawn from a pool of about 25 to 30 questions in each weekly assignment. And then a reiteration, a repurposing of these questions will happen when you do your midterm and then later on your final. All right? All right, so if I was you, I would read these questions real quickly, okay? So I know what they are, all right? I'm checking them all out, okay? And then I will go back over here and say, okay, now I know what I'm looking for in terms of answering the quiz, and let's get into it with this. So then I'm gonna open up this PDF file right here, open it up, boom. All right, so last week we did let's put my arrow here, and last week we went from the introduction right here, okay, and the forward, the overview, the introduction up to trend 5. And so we talked about, you know, just the reality of a changing in the balance in our populations. People live longer, people are having less kids, all right, and that means when you look at the distribution of populations, it's being skewed to having more older people, and then some of the issues that's associated with that. We talked about when you have an increasing life expectancy, the oldest old, yes, you know, I wish I could say that, you know, oh, we you know, basically kick ass until we're 90 and then poof, it's over. It's not like that. You had this kind of downward spiral at different levels, okay? Certainly a lot more vulnerable to disease. Just take a look at me. You know, I've had, since I was 60, I have had three significant orthopedic surgeries because I was an athlete my whole life. It is what it is. Do I come back 100% after those surgeries? No. Okay. And so there's a growing burden that impacts me, impacts my children. Okay. So within the family unit. And then in terms of big picture, I'm expending a lot more of the insurance company's assets to cover me. There's my doggy barkies. Um, so, alrighty. So that's that. It gives you kind of a feeling of what's going on here. Okay. We see that there's an implication as well where we're going to get into the economics, and we're going to cover all this stuff in an individual way all throughout the semester. So, when you have more older people, but on the other end of the analysis, we see that there's a decline in population because people like you guys are not having kids that often. It's hard to even wrap your head around the concept that at your age, you guys should probably have 3 kids at least, maybe 4. And that's just the way we're set up biologically. We don't do that. We get our act together, then we say, okay, now I'm going to have kids, and then lo and behold, you might have one, or you're just infertile and you can't have any. All right. So that has significant economic impact in terms of the productivity of the country. All right. So we're going to get it. I'm going to now go into trend 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. I was kind of overzealous last time. I talked and talked and talked, and it's going to be a shorter run this time. So let's go right into trend 6. I'm going to scroll down here. We've already gone through 1 through 5. For those of you new to the class, you go to week 1, and you can look at my video. I also sent out my overview video, just like this one. I sent that out as an email, so you'll find that in the announcement page. Okay. Alrighty, and that was the last one right there. We saw the significance of population decline. They did a focus on Russia, and we talk about it, and here we are. So, how's it going to impact you as an individual? Well, one of the first ways to look at it is just your own social unit, your family. Okay, and what are the expectations, and what do we see if we kind of generalize across populations? Okay, so it says straight up here, here's the overview: people live longer and have fewer children. There it is. Okay, so that into itself transforms the family unit. Okay, me, like I said, I'm going to get older, I'm going to get more feeble. I'm still going to, my ticker's still going to be going here. And here, hold on a sec. Hey, Julie, tell the dogs to stop playing. Come here. Okay. They like to wrestle, and one of them is very vocal. Desi, come here. Okay. Anyways, so back in the day, okay, when the baby boomers, erupted, okay, it was a long time ago. Okay, we're all in our 60s, but back in the day, when we came of age, when we were, in our 20s to 40s, okay, there was a lot of us then, a family of 4 to 6, sometimes 8, it was crazy, that would then distribute the responsibility of taking care of their parents and their grandparents. Okay. All right. So now we fast forward here. I have 2 kids. Okay. A lot of people have 1 kid, still have old dad, me, and old mom, but now suddenly the burden is significant. Okay, in terms of the caregiving. Okay. So that's a big deal. Okay. And since people are living longer, okay, there's a good chance that you'll be in your late 20s, and you're going to have that issue of watching over your parents as they get older, and your grandparents who are now in their 90s. Okay, so these are big social implications. Okay, alrighty. So they talk about the life expectancy. When you look at the distribution of they call it beanpole, and that's just a numeric look. Back in the day, we looked at right here. Just right here is how many young people there were. There were a ton of young people up here. The top, there were the usual amount of old people, but there are a lot of young people to take care for the old people. Now it's like this. Okay, not very many young people, same amount of old people. So that's what that's all about. All right. And there's and things are transforming. Hey, hold on a sec. Julie, the dog's out there eating poop. So, anyways, Yes, dogs are a pleasure, aren't they? It's fertilizer, but either way, there. That was Lucy, the one you met. She's just, look at her chowing down on it. Oh my God. Um, okay, so what we see is we're reshaping things, and there's all kinds of differences. The divorce rate is getting higher right now in your generation compared to my generation. My generation, 9% of people over the age of 65 are divorced. We see 17% of people 55 to 64, 18% of 45 to 54, and then what we're seeing in your generation, people don't even get married anymore. All right, and so that really then is an issue, because with Julie's mom and dad, I de facto would help because I'm part of the family unit. If you're not married and the person decides to skedaddle, okay, now it's just one of you. So these are all big kind of sociological changes that are happening in terms of families and how to care for everybody. Okay, all right. So this long-term care becomes a bigger and bigger issue. Okay, especially in more westernized, industrialized nations. Okay, where people are working longer, and so who's going to care for grandma and grandma? Everybody's working, and so it's a big issue. Also, kind of the American way. Okay, is we're very global, so oftentimes you skedaddle and you get a job in New York, your parents live in Phoenix, okay? So you're gonna have to hire somebody. Um, back in the day, we were more agricultural, we were very local, you wouldn't leave the geographic location of your family. And so you could have multi-generational housing and you would have the benefit of your grandparents could watch your kids where you're off working and and then as well as your parents got older, you and the kids would watch over them. So that's a big change. Can we see this? Again, we'll look at the canary in the coal mine, and this is looking at Japan. Okay, so we have what has transitioned. Again, looking backwards. So this is a while ago when this study was done, but when we're looking at the living arrangement, okay, of people over the age of 65 and how this is transformed. Okay, living in an institution is the kind of cardinal brown, so to speak. Living alone, okay, is the olive green. The red is living with a spouse, but all the kids are gone. And then the blue was married and living with a married child or other relatives. Okay, the big, more family collective approach that we see in other countries, not so much here in the States. Okay, and what you see is the family collective has disappeared. Okay, or is disappearing. Okay, if we were to continue this course, this trend, you could see that by 2020, you would anticipate that only 20% of the population of Japan is living with a child or some other relative. What areas have expanded the most? Okay, we see right here that a lot more people are living alone, and there's a lot more institutional-based care. This would be an assisted living facility, a nursing home, or something like that. Okay, awesome. So these are transformations that are happening worldwide. Okay, it's happening in our country, etc. Okay. The other thing that's happening is, and this is being a big hot ticket item politically. Okay, they had riots in France recently because I think they were changing the official retirement age when you can get your pension by 1 year from I think it was 60 to 61 or something like that, and people were just flipping out. Okay. Um, but what's happening is in order to get your entitlement program, your government-based social support, we have Social Security, we have Medicare, they keep pushing the age further. So we are right now just a smidgen south of 67 years of age, okay, in order to get your full benefit. You retire early, okay, let's say you decide I want to retire at 62, then you're going to get a smaller percentage of that. You push it out to age 70, 70 is when you max out, you can then increase the amount of your Social Security check, okay? And and we're going to talk about that. This is an opportunity. All right. All right. So this is looking at countries all around the world. Okay, in terms of dealing with this and these changes in the retirement age. Okay. Um, and life expectancies increase. The whole problem with retirement policies and governments, they were based, the New Deal when back in the 30s. For us, Roosevelt set up Social Security and Medicare. We were coming out of the Depression. It was a way to provide income to people. Okay. But the life expectancy was, people were living to 60 years of age. Now, fast forward, the average life expectancy is mid to late 80s, and people are still retiring at the same age. So now you have to pay out as a government for a much longer period of time, and we have issues. Okay. Um, the Social Security, as we pay it, it goes into an investment fund, okay, and um, and this fund, okay, we were able to draw off the proceeds, okay. This would be the return on the investment up to about 2026, and then now we're going to have, because there's so many people retiring, um, we're going to now have to be pulling from the principal, okay? And so in order for you guys to have full retirement, we got some issues ahead of us. We're probably going to raise the age of retirement, and the other way is to tax people at a greater rate. We'll talk about that later, okay? So this is a whole group here that has looked at this whole retirement concept, okay? And people again are working longer now because the pension system is not adequate, and they look in at different countries right here, okay, and the incentive to retire early is a burden. It's an economic burden for these countries. They offer too much. The Netherlands, France, Belgium, and Italy, we see that the percent of men 55 to 65 years of age, the retiring is pretty high, right around 60%. Whereas the US, we're down here in the mid 30s, okay? And we can see Japan is way, way, way down here. So people have to work longer there, okay? Because there's not this umbrella of protection financially that is an entitlement program like the Social Security system. So let's see how we stack up here. And I'm going to go back to what we did is we found some materials and added to it right here. All right. Actually, let's go back to that PDF file, because I was just going to get to this and we'll come back. Okay. So when we look at this burden right here, it scrolls down here. There it is. Okay. And we see the economic well-being of a country, okay, is its gross domestic product. Okay, this is again looking backwards, 2003. It's only gotten worse, okay, over time. And this is the European Union countries, all right? So what percentage of the negative pull, okay? So we look at manufacturing and taxes and all the positive of economics, okay? Sales taxes that go into the gross domestic product of a country, and then the negative outflow of money. And this would be equivalent to Medicare, pensions like Social Security. And we see that Italy is significantly impacted. Okay, we look at Italy, Poland, all these old world countries. They pay a super high percentage of their country's economic well-being towards the independent, individual well-being of people through their Social Security and healthcare programs. Okay, this is what it is on average. Okay, and you see Ireland has a whole different set of rules. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. Now we're going to go back to what I outlined here, and let's see how we stack up. Okay, so over here it says public expenditures on pensions as a percentage of the gross domestic product. Okay, that's just one part of the public expenditure. We also have healthcare and things like that. Okay. Oh, right, T. So we see that way over here, Greece and Italy are sky high. They are saddled with this, and so they need to have economic reform because people are living so long that too much of the economic well-being, the gross domestic product of these countries is going out to pay for pensions. And that's what this is all about. And you can see, you scroll through here, and this is the average for Europe, okay? And then here we are down here. So we're below average in terms of these expenditures, all right? Awesome. We see over here, okay, when we look at the distribution here in terms of public and private pension expenditures on pensions, okay, so this up here, okay, was our public expenditure in terms of our pension system, and it's 7% of our gross domestic product. We see down here, we get up here, we're approaching the U.S. is approaching about 11.5, almost 12%, okay? But again, 7% here is the public pension system, okay? And the remainder are private pensions, which are rapidly disappearing. That would be a pension where it's paid by your company, like IBM or Google or something like that, okay? Most companies do not offer pensions anymore because they were going broke, and they then ask you to invest your own money, and we're going to have a whole section on this on financial planning, where you'll invest your own money either in a 401k or something like that, or an individual retirement account. We're going to promote that for you guys, okay? Awesome. Alrighty, so again, we can see, again, combined, where we stand compared to other countries, okay? Some countries have very little, okay? Very little offerings, and you see this right here. Alrighty, let's go down here now. All right, so Social Security, is it gonna remain as we know it? So here's the big issue, okay? People are retiring, say at 67 now, okay, but they're living an additional 30 years, okay. Back in the day, okay, I was born in 56, okay, so back in the day, there weren't that many older people, okay, so this is the ratio of people that were productive paying taxes to people that were in retirement. So 16 people, you would parse out the Social Security tax and give it out to just one person's benefit. And this is why our Social Security trust fund, our investment, grew and grew and grew over time, okay? So, but what you see here is this decline, okay? So here in 2015, for one person's retirement, we have 3 people paying into the system, and here's in 2035, one person, you'll have 2 people paying into the system, okay? The only way that's gonna work is either this, one person retires later, right here, or we have more taxes to pay for this. How much are our taxes? Right here, I brought it up, okay? So this is our Social Security and Medicare taxes, okay? So 15.3% of our earnings is what makes up the Medicare and Social Security tax, okay? Alrighty. How does that work, okay? If you work for an employer, okay, like I do USC, 6.2% of my paycheck goes to Social Security, okay? And then 6.2% is paid by USC, all right? So that comes to 12.4%, okay? In addition, for Medicare, okay, we see 1.45, I pay out of my paycheck, USC pays an additional 1.45, okay? If you are self-employed, you're kind of screwed. You have to pay for the entire 15.3%, okay? Again, this is a big issue in terms of reform. Awesome. All right, so let's go back here now. All righty. Nope, not there. There. Let's go back to our class. There it is. Okay. Is this one better? It is. Okay, awesome. We're back to our class. All right, so that's everything in terms of that. I'm going to jump to the discussion when we get done with the PDF file, and let's go back to this. We're almost done here, so we can see how we rank, and you see the big economic issue that's happening. Okay, so in this chapter they talk about the Chinese experiment, and what happened in China. They had so many older people. They had the one-child policy, so fewer and fewer people paying into their entitlement program, their Social Security system, and so they had to change it up. And now before they used to guarantee a full salary as a Social Security system that equated with how much you made. Now they only guarantee 20% of what you were earning, and the rest you have to do on yourself. on your own. I mean, through your own financial planning. Okay, and this is what this is all about right here. Again, this is the same issue that we saw in terms of the chart that I showed um, in our website, our Blackboard website, and we see here the ratio of workers to pensioners. Okay, and it's going down, 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 and their ending date right here is 2005. So now it's down here to less than one. I mean, less than two, somewhere around one person paying in. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so they had to come up with a plan. So the emerging economic challenge in this chapter, just about what we have to do. We have to encourage people to work longer. Our issue is we have, we pay Social Security on our earnings up to about $140,000. I could be wrong on that. And then we don't pay any more Social Security or Medicare tax. Okay. So the extremely wealthy populations that are making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, billions of dollars a year, they're only paying Social Security on that first 140,000. For somebody that is making 100 grand, it's disproportionate. Okay, in the end, Bill Gates is still going to qualify to get his Social Security at $45,000, $47,000 a year for the rest of his life. Does he need it? Probably not. So this is all the kind of reform that has to be thought about. All righty. What we're encouraged to do is to get people to invest, okay? And this is, again, remember we saw how so much of Greece and so much of Spain and Italy, they're so burdened, we go back to our website right here, by over here, by their pension system, okay? And so what a lot of countries have done, we'll go back over here to the PDF file that we're looking at, is Sweden, Denmark, etc. They are encouraging households to invest in their own future. Yes, you're going to still have their version of Social Security, but we see now more and more and more people are investing in mutual funds. It's not a huge amount, 50% right here, okay, all right? So it can be mutual funds is a collection of stocks, so we're going to talk about that. Maybe a category of stock like tech, okay, or agricultural or biotech or whatever it is, and then you can invest in individual stocks as well, okay. You see, 50% of the population is still not doing that, but the real kind of scary part is there's such a low percentage of these countries are doing it. Why? Okay, because they know the government's going to pay their way. All right, so that's going to have to change. All right, and that's a big deal. For us, that's what's being encouraged as well. Is we got to pay our own way. All right, the issue is you have a limited time when you're working. Okay, a lot of you guys are right over here. Okay, you may or may not even start working, so you're not contributing to the labor income of your country in terms of the gross domestic product. Okay, you're still a consumer right here. Okay, you're still going out to eat, still going to movies, still doing entertainment, still paying rent, blah 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 blah. Okay, your consumption level doesn't increase that much. Okay, but your contribution goes way up, and then what happens then is you retire. Okay, and what happens? You spend less, and so we're going to talk about that. I'll be spending my 401k, but not at the level that I'm spending my income right now, and so there's less tax going out. So I'm less income being put in, okay, but still consuming, okay, and so this is kind of those economic dilemmas. All right, cool. So that's what that's all about, okay. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to close that guy. All right. We're going to go back over here, and this is kind of just a reflection on how we stand. And then you come in here, and again, to wrap your head around this concept is there's more and more bigger percentage of the population this is global, okay, is over the age of 65, okay, and a smaller and smaller percentage is under the age of 5, meaning we're not replacing ourselves at the right rate in order to pay for the older people, right? And how quickly is all this happening? You know, France had a long time to figure this out. They still haven't figured out their pension system now. Sweden, there's all these, you know, U.S. here, but you see these developing countries as part of your first writing assignment. Um, it's happening at breakneck speeds, and so they haven't had the opportunity to figure things out on a societal level, community, government-based levels, and so they're looking for a lot of answers. Some of these countries, South Korea did it quickly, but they were way ahead of the curve and figured things out. This is the number of people over the age of 65 in millions that exist in India and China. Okay, so you can see that it's exponential right here. And then we can look at Japan again, where things happen so quickly in terms of this imbalance of age and its consequences. So people are having to work longer. Just remember way back when, Japan did not have a very good pension system, okay? Didn't have guaranteed income. And so people work longer, fewer people at the family level to support older members of the community, and how they dealing with that right there, okay? And then what's happening is, since you're totally reliant on yourself, people are working themselves into really, really stressful situations. And what are the consequences? There's a huge fertility crisis. So this is your discussion. You would have to subscribe to Business Insider to get access to this article, but we do have the PDF file that you click on, you access. So this is the prompt right here, all right? We look at impact of aging, fertility, okay? World economic changes in aging and fertility, okay? Are going to change your world, and what's your take on all this in terms of this changing dynamic of having to be sandwiched between caring for your parents and grandparents? There she is again. Lucy, come here. Lucy, all we get is Lucy's butt. They snip their tails so they don't break them when they're out hunting. Um, and you're gonna have to work longer. All right. Peace, guys. Enjoy this week, and we'll see you next time. Hey, go Trojans! We beat up on Fresno State. Big surprise. Oh, San Jose State. Sorry, Fresno State's coming down the the pike probably. But anyways, all right. I knew it was a state college. Okay. Bye.